Hello everyone! So I'm finally going to be shooting my gym pet peeves video. I figured with all this quarantine stuff going on, it'd be the perfect time to make a video. And I wanted to make it a little extra special and do it mukbang style. I've always wanted to do a mukbang. I freaking love watching them. I'm sorry if you don't, but I'm just so excited and I'm so hungry. My amazing Italian father made me the most beautiful plate of pasta I've ever seen in my life. And I made myself a cookie dough cheesecake casserole. I have the recipe linked down below if you're interested, but I haven't tried anything yet, so I'm very excited. So before I get into these gym pet peeves, I'm just gonna try some pasta. Oh my gosh. I don't think I'm made to be a mukbanger because I'm a very messy eater, and this is a very messy food. Look at that bite. I don't know if you can see, there's smoke coming off it, and oh. Mm. Mm. Oh my gosh. If I have food in my face or in my teeth throughout this video, I'm sorry. Okay, let's start with the gym pet peeves. So, I think I'm gonna start with one of the pet peeves that happens the most, and it's people staring. Now, I know there's a lot of attractive people at the gym or impressive people at the gym and you want to check them out, but there's a difference between glancing and staring. And I don't know why, but it's more of a problem with older gentlemen. It's just so much more uncomfortable when an old man is blatantly staring at you. One of the ones that stands out to me the most is this older man who went to my LA Fitness, and he would not just stare from afar. He would be close up, turn his entire body toward me, and blatantly stare like this. He would smile! He would smile as he was staring at me the entire time. I don't know which I'd prefer, a like blank look or smiling. That is a perfect little swirl. Oh, became perfect. And I'm not a very confrontational person, so it's very difficult for me to be like, hey, can you stop staring at me? There's actually a story that my sister's boyfriend told me where he said he was at the gym and there was a prettier girl on one side of the gym and then there was an older gentleman a little couple feet away from her. He was staring at her and this girl took off her headphones, turned toward him and literally said, "Stop staring at me, you old creepy fuck." He was in shock, my sister's boyfriend was in shock, everyone around them was in shock. It's admirable and inspiring, but I just feel I'm not ballsy enough to be that rude to someone, even if they're making me uncomfortable. You know, my boyfriend always tells me to just be rude and stand up for myself, but I just don't have the heart to be that rude to people, especially just guys casually hitting on me. I think the most I could do is just say, sorry, I have a boyfriend, because it takes a lot of courage to, you know, it takes a lot of courage to go up to a girl, so I try not to be too brutal. My next gym pet peeve is people who just don't have consideration for other people. People who hog machines without actually using them or being inconsiderate with them. So I'll give you a story. Most of my pet peeves come from actual stories that happened to me, but you know, let me know if any of these things happened to you. So I was working out and there was one more exercise I needed to do, and it was on the bench press station. And there's only 3 at my gym. So all 3 were taken, and one was taken from a girl who was doing the most intense superset I've ever seen in my entire life. She did 4 exercises back to back on the bench, and then she would walk across the gym, and I don't even know where she went. I was in the mat area, you know, where you do abs, and she was in the bench press area, and then she would walk past me and go, I guess, to the cardio station. I don't know. I wouldn't even know where she went, and would stay there for 10 to 15 minutes, and then she would come back and redo all the exercises again. And she did this about like 3 times. And I'm like, girl, you can't just claim a whole station on one side of this gym and then go to the other side of the gym and claim a whole other station. That's just, get your own gym at that point. I was getting super heated at this point, just seeing her walk back and forth, doing her, it was basically a circuit. She was doing a circuit, but it involved the entire gym, I guess. It came to a point where another guy who apparently wanted the bench press too just went up and took her place. Her stuff was everywhere. There was a bunch of little weights, dumbbells, her phone, her water bottle was in the bench press area. And when she was in the other area of the gym, this guy just came and sat down and made himself comfortable. And funny enough, she came back to her little area, and I couldn't hear what was going on, but you can just assume from mannerisms, I guess, that she was really upset, and she was like waving her hands, and he was just like, oh, I imagine he was like, well, you weren't here. So I was just so grateful for that man. Okay, so now I'm gonna try the cookie dough cheesecake casserole. I actually got this from another mukbanger that I love to watch. Her name is Megan McCollum, and she's my favorite mukbanger, and she ate this in one of her videos. I'll link that too down below. It's so soft. Oh my gosh. It's cheesecake and cookie in the bottom and cookie on top. That's really good. I love cookies, I love cheesecake, I love brownies, I love very decadent desserts, so So another pet peeve that kind of goes in line with the last one was people who just waste their time hogging machines when they're not actually using it. You know, it's one thing to take your time with a new exercise or setting a new PR, and it just kind of takes the breath out of you. And then there's the person who works out half-ass, barely puts any effort, and then goes on their phone for 10 minutes. Especially if it's the only machine in the building and all the other ones are full. Like for me, I'm very conscious of if I'm using the only machine, how long I'm being on it. So if there's 3 Smith machines and I'm on one of them and the other 2 are empty, then whatever, I'll take my time, I'll go on my phone. But if I'm on it and other people are using it too, or it's a busy day at the gym, like, pick it up, people. You have to be considerate about other people. Other people have their own schedules, and at the end of the day, as much as I love the gym, I just want to be in and out. I don't want to spend a lot of time there. I want to get my workout in and I want to leave. I know a lot of people see the gym as like their social activity, and you know, they like to talk and meet friends, but I'm not that type of person, and I feel like a lot of people are in the same boat as me. Woo! So with that being said, there was one time I wanted to use the hip abduction machine, and these 3 older Spanish ladies were circled around it. One was sitting on the actual hip abduction and the other 2 were surrounding her. And they were just talking like they were having lunch on a Sunday and it was a grand old time, not even working out. They were literally using the hip abduction as a chair. So, of course, it was my last exercise too. This always happens when I have one more exercise left and I just want to get the hell home. But I was just glaring at them, like, and it got to the point where I got up the courage and I walked up to them and said, how many sets do you have left? And so thank God they actually sped up and finished their workout. You know, I don't know about you, but anytime someone asks me how many sets I have left, I'm like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta finish my sets that are waiting for me. I feel a lot of pressure. Oh my gosh, I'm already getting full. I don't know how these people eat so much food in one sitting. The cookies are a little bit overpowering. I feel like I don't really taste the cheesecake part, but I did put a lot of cookies on top. Okay, another thing that happened to me, this isn't really a pet peeve, it's just something that's happened to me once, and it was just like so absurd that it happened that I'm gonna mention it. So it was a busy Wednesday at the gym at 6 o'clock, you know, rush hour. And I was doing my hip thrusts on the bench press area. I think I had already done one set. And I don't know if you've ever done hip thrusts, but hip thrusts are a pain in the ass to set up. You have to get the bar, set up the big old plates, especially if you use a lot of weights. You gotta prop it up, set it up. It's just a process. So after I had done my first set, these two guys come up to me and say, hey, you know what? It's easier to do hip thrust on the declined bench press machine. I don't know if you know, there's a horizontal one, and then there's one that's inclined, so you can bench press that way. And they were like, oh, can you use that one so we can use this bench? And you know me, I'm not mean enough. And I was like, okay. And so I literally moved all of my stuff and went to the decline bench press, and it was awful. I hate hip thrusting on the freaking decline bench press. It's so not the same. It doesn't work for me at all. I tried it that time and I tried it one other time, and it just, That was just my own fault. That's not really a pet peeve that people do. It was just me not being able to say no. But it's just kind of rude to ask someone to like stop what they're doing and move just so you can have their equipment. Like, and then another time that I was forced to move somewhere for two guys was a time where I was deadlifting in the squat rack area. These two guys came up to me and they're like, hey, do you mind if we use this? And I was like, well, that's fine, because you know, you can deadlift anywhere technically. Even though it's a little inconvenient in my gym, there's not exactly a deadlifting designated area, so I would just have to be like shoved up in a corner. But I figured, okay, they need it for squats, that's fair enough, so I moved. And I continued to do my deadlifts, and I glance over, because they're behind me at this point, and I see them doing deadlifts. Why'd you make me move? Why couldn't you deadlift where I'm deadlifting now? Why would you? That is just so rude. People have some nerve. And coming from like men, you're really gonna tell a woman to leave so you can have the equipment? The next one is people talking to me. I don't use the gym to socialize. I know some people do, but I don't like it. I feel like, number one, you're interrupting my workout, which means my rest time is much longer than it needs to be, which means my workout is going to be less effective. Unless you're asking me how many sets do you have left, or is someone using this, don't talk to me. There was this guy, and this guy wasn't hitting on me because he literally talks to every single person at the gym. I think he's like a businessman trying to like connect with people or something like that, but the first time he approached me, he talked to me for like 20 minutes. And it was like my last exercise, of course. I mean, I don't know, it's hard for me to say because a lot of people do like talking to other people at the gym. I'm just not one of those. I think I'm done. I've covered all my pet peeves. I'm gonna take one more bite of this because I'm really full. I feel like I haven't eaten anything, but I ate most of the pasta, but this is very rich, so it's difficult to eat a lot of. But I'm gonna have one more bite. Okay guys, this was delicious and really fun. I'm gonna try to post more now that this whole quarantine thing's going on. I'm still working, thank God, but it's definitely more slow and my hours have been cut back significantly. So I'm gonna try to make more time for YouTube because I really miss it and I still get comments saying, where are you? So I'm gonna try to be more consistent, no promises. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it lifted your day and helped you during this quarantine time. I hope you guys are all staying safe. and let me know any of your gym pet peeves. I'd love to read them. And if any of you try this recipe, please let me know. And I'm sorry if you're on a diet and I'm making you crave pasta and cheesecake cookie dough casserole. Bye guys!